Hey everyone, welcome to Open Hybrid. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosty Cafe con Leche for the next hour, coming to you from Chari Executive Suite, inviting you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, follow moi on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. So as we continue celebrating Latinx Heritage Month, we opened today's episode discussing an upcoming musical celebration honoring different Latinx countries such as Colombia, Cuba, Honduras, and Venezuela. The Afro-Latinidad Musical Celebration presented by Casita Maria and Ori-Gen Collective is a one-day festive concert that features different musical groups with a focus on their African roots in Latin America. Here to share more is Interim Co-Executive Director from Casita Maria Center for Arts and Education, Gail Heidel, and producer, singer-songwriter, guitarist, Juancho Herrera. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Rhina. Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you, especially with this wonderful programming that you continue to do.
Thank you so much. We always appreciate your support and BronxNet's support as well.
Bravo. And bienvenido, Juancho.
Muchas gracias por tenerme. Thank you so much for having us here. It's amazing that we can reach your audience, so thank you.
Yes, and let's just introduce everybody to Casita Maria's fall programming, and we'll start with you, Gail, especially in this new role of Interim Co-Executive Director.
I've been at Casita Maria now for 7 years, and I had the pleasure of serving with Aide Morales, who was also our executive director for 7 years. She just stepped down in June. We miss her terribly, but she's still serving in a consultant role to help us with the transition as we search for a new leader. So yes, I'm serving along with Cristina Rivera Lugo as the interim co-executive director. I'll be overseeing all of the programs, our education programs, and the creative arts programs during this transition period. And you also asked about our fall programming. We just opened our new exhibition called Built Like This by Chicana Bronxite Daisy Ruiz. And the exhibition is an anti-bullying and positive body image exhibition. So that's in our gallery. Folks are welcome to come visit. And then, of course, we're going to talk about our event on October 1st.
Yes, and so the exhibition, though, that's on display until when?
Until March. So folks have 6 months to come visit. You just need to email marketing@casitamaria.org, and you can schedule a tour, and we're happy to welcome you.
Yeah, and of course, you can also visit the gallery while visiting the Afro-Latinidad Musical Celebration that is honoring National Hispanic Heritage Month. And I understand Juancho, as one of the founders of Ori-Gen Collective, is responsible for the actual lineup. So let's talk about that, Juancho.
Well, I've been blessed in the past 20 plus years since I'm here in the US to have played and performed with so many incredible masters of different kinds of music. And so this collective started as an initiative by Arturo Farrell and Pablo Aslan. And originally, the Afro-Latin Jazz Alliance was the force behind the collective. And so they started to recruit people from all the diaspora. And so I came as a person from Venezuela. That's where I'm from. I was born in Colombia, grew up in Venezuela. And so the story of the collective is a little long. I invite people to go to Ori-Gen.org and check it out. But we started during the pandemic. We did a bunch of video series, and we were able to do a festival last year live. And this year we are partnering with Casita Maria. And so this concept of Afro-Latinidad is a concept that, like many of the concepts that are connected to our Latinx community, it's very confusing for people that are not from the community, because we are as diverse as it can be. So
when you say diverse, are you referring to the multiculturalism or the genres in which you guys
everything? So, but there's some roots that have expressed themselves differently in different parts of the continent. So I have been blessed to play with all the artists that you're going to see on October 1st. And so I always wanted to my focus is to make connections and to people and for people to see that if you are from Puerto Rico, you can see something that is kind of similar in Colombia or similar in Peru or similar in Honduras. So this, from the point of view of musical point of view, this festival, this curation is trying to make that, to see people that have emigrated to the U.S. that have connected to the roots and the musical influences of New York, and the Bronx being one of the most important hubs of music, because Latin jazz, hip hop, and pare usted de contar, music is from that area.
And salsa, we can't forget salsa.
The whole point of this is to have these artists that came with their instruments, with their culture, but embracing all the American influences. So if you want, I can talk a little bit about each one of the artists, or
Well, I think it would be nice for us to mention the artists and what who they represent, because I did introduce that the countries being represented are Cuba, Honduras, Colombia, Venezuela, and it would be great to know if it's a group, individual, and what genre they're going to be playing.
Okay, so the day is going to start with Melvis Santa from Cuba. Melvis is a singer, songwriter that also in movies as well. She was a little bit of a movie star back in Cuba. And I met her when she first arrived, playing boleros and sones. And as everyone that comes from a place other than the U.S., when you come here, there is this longing from your roots. And she started to really dive into Afro-Cuban tradition and the whole tradition of Ifa and the whole religious part of the Afro-Cuban music. And so she is an artist that is versed in jazz, in boleros, and the Afro-Cuban tradition. So her set, it's just that, kind of like a bolero song with the traditional batat drums and with a jazz influence. She's been actually guest in Kenny Garrett's band. Kenny Garrett is one of the top saxophone players in jazz alive today. He used to be part of Miles Davis's band. So this is an incredible opportunity that she has to immerse herself in that genre and bring that to her music.
How long are each sets?
So each set is around 55 minutes. And so the second artist is going to be Aurelio Martinez, which is like the ambassador for Garifuna music, super important musician, and he was the first black congressman for Honduras. I had the opportunity to play with him as well. It was an incredible experience. Then we're going to have Grupo Revolu from Colombia. They are a fixture of New York City, even though some of them now moved to Miami. They've been at it for many, many years. They are based on four musicians, Joana Castañeda, Ronald Polo, Erika Parra, and Morris Cañate, who are the center of this group. They do their original music based in all Afro-Colombian tradition, from Chandé, from Curulao, different kinds of styles.
Yeah, in the folklore genre. No, and the reason I'm smiling so much is because we've had them on the show, so I know exactly what's in store. You guys need to really pick up the vibration, because this is a fierce lineup.
It is. I mean, I played also with Revolu, and there's when they started, the vibe is just so infectious. And then we're gonna end up with a more recent immigrant from Venezuela, Jacob Vital, which is a singer and a master of Afro-Venezuelan drums. He has performed with the most important orchestra in Venezuela. I don't know if your audience knows that we have also not only a very strong traditional music, but also very strong in classical orchestras. So he has been in many situations where he has brought the Afro-Venezuelan drum to other contexts. And so he has a group that he started here in the last 4 years, I would say. And he's going to be joined by a native New Yorker. Her name is Kavita Shah. She comes from Indian descent, from India, but she's been an expert in Western African music, in music from Cape Verde. And so one of the things that I also envision is that we have to connect these Afro traditions with and see what the links are, because that's when you see the beauty of how all these things come from Mother Africa. And so that's going to be the end of it. And well, the end of the show, but the beginning of many other opportunities, hopefully.
Well said. Well said. I get it. There's a thread there, is what you're saying, and putting it all together is how we're going to be able to experience it and feel it and vibe off of it. And so, Gail, is this the first in-person show since the pandemic?
Our first in-person auditorium event was over the summer when we were partnering with musicians from the New York Philharmonic, and we had an open rehearsal with Bronx Banda and the New York Philharmonic. So that was our first in-person auditorium event. And then this will be our second.
Yeah, no, it's different when it's in person. That's why I'm asking. I mean, I know I've experienced it with you outdoors, but indoors is a whole nother animal. And the reason I ask that is, like, is there going to be limited seating? Like, what are the logistics on the indoor functions?
Well, the event is free. We are, letting anyone in, no matter what their vaccination status is. Masks are optional, although they are recommended, and we'll be having seating for hundreds of people. So, don't worry about being turned away at the door, and all the seating will be socially distanced. And you're also welcome to move seating around and set up your own pods as needed. And there'll be plenty of room for dancing.
Yay, that was the magic word. Dancing room. Woo! Excited. Thank you so much, both of you, for making the time to bring it here to our viewers, everyone. Gail Heidel, Interim Co-Executive Director of Casita Maria Center for Arts and Education, and guitarist Juancho Herrera, producer and singer-songwriter, and founder of the Ori-Gen collectives, and they are presenting the all-day Afro-Latinidad Musical Celebration in honor of National Hispanic Heritage Month, and that's taking place October 1st from 1 p.m. through 6:30 p.m. happening at Casita Maria's Auditorium, located at 928 Simpson Street in the Bronx. For more information, you can visit casitamaria.org and Ori-Gen. Ori-Gen.org. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll talk with a licensed acupuncturist and wellness coach about her services and how you can awaken your body's natural healing system. So don't go anywhere.